we're gonna do some data processing, see if you guys have enough responses to get a plausible organization, so you guys can if we can arrange the data that you do have enough so that we can get a valid chi-squared test to pop out of this. If we can, then you don't need to collect any more data. If we can't get that to work, then we're going to need some more data collection from you guys. 60s is probably right at the low end of probably what you need, but we're going to give it a shot because I'd like to get this done. So we can start working on writing these papers, so you're not like trying to cram it all in the last like week before the end of the semester, because we're like a month out right now. So what I am going to do is go through kind of how to do this data processing piece. We'll talk through it. I would invite you to follow along with your own data as I go through kind of how I'm going about doing these things. Everybody's okay? All right. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to open my Excel sheet, and I'm going to boil my data down into 2 columns. So I'm going to delete out everything that I don't need. So like the timestamp, the email address. Do this in Excel, by the way. Don't use Google Sheets. I don't know how to do anything in Google Sheets. So when you can, I think you can export the data to Excel when you pull it from the pull it from your Google form. That's what I always do. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, do that. I don't know if I'll get new response. You will continue to get updated responses. They won't update into your sheet. But you can just, like, if you get 10 more, you can just manually type them in at the end, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. But I would encourage all of you guys to follow along as I'm doing this in real time. So I suggested to do this in Excel. So if you do file, download, and you choose as an Excel data type or file type. So download responses. No, I don't think I want it there. Human sheets.
Oh, and then you go from here.
Yeah, and then I think we do file as an Excel file.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was expecting to see like 16 GPA. 1.6 GPA. Do you just like eliminate those like half-hour sleep ones?
We can. Yeah, I would say that if you have some obvious nonsense data, like this person that says their GPA is 22, like you can obviously ignore that from your data set. I probably wouldn't delete it out of my sheet. I would just take that pair of points and like drag it to the end. I would do something like this and just like, put it somewhere where it's not with the rest of my data or whatever, like down here or stuff, and just make a little label to myself in case I need that data point back for whatever reason. I don't want it gone. But I wouldn't, and when we do our processing, I don't want to include any obvious falsify data inside of our analysis. So take a minute here, and if there's any kind of cleanup you need to do to your data to get it into like two numeric variables, like if you have hours and minutes, I would write a little Excel script to just turn that into like all hours or all minutes. So for example, like if I have data that looks like this, like something that says 5 hours and 20 minutes, and let's say I just want to convert that all into minutes. So I'm going to take that hours times 60 plus that minutes, and then if I would drag this down, even if I have like, a bunch of these other things, if I drag down, it'll just apply that same formula all the way down the sheet. So if you have data that you have to convert, where you have minutes and hours and minutes, and you need to convert it all into one quantity, that's an easy way to do that. I'm trying to think if anybody has any other data that would be like 2-unit data, like hours and minutes. I don't think so. Okay, can I go on? Have we got our data cleaned here to a point where it's now usable into just 2 columns? When I ask a question like that, you could at least tell me no if you're still trying to clean your data. You're still cleaning? Yeah. Okay. And again, if you need help on any of this while you're figuring out how to do that, holler at me. I am pretty handy with Excel. I'm not necessarily an Excel ninja, but I'm pretty competent. So like, say I have hour, I have minute, and I just want to turn this into just like total of minutes. So I'm going to start by typing an equal sign. And I'm going to take the hours and hours cell and multiply it by 60. So like shift number 8 for the time sign. And then I'll do plus the minutes cell. When I just clicked on the cell with the hours, it did that for me. And then when I type the plus and then I'll click on the cell that says minutes. And then if I press enter from here, it'll do that calculation. And say we have like, you know, some more cells or whatever. If I click my cursor here and see there's a little tiny square at the bottom, see how my cursor's turned into that black plus? If I left click and drag down, it'll then apply that same formula I created at that first cell all the way down. So if I look at this one, it's saying to get that cell, I did N4 times 60 plus 04. You know, and if I go down and I look at the next cell, it tells me to, you know, what it did to do that. And you can see that it's just applying that same formula all the way down. Yeah.
So for this, should I find like the average of the 3 and then like, so I did 3 weeks.
Okay. So what are these cells? Your average?
Average for like the earliest or the recent week, middle week, and then like earliest.
Okay. And then what is? Those are just their same. What is like?
Filled it out wrong, but I
3:17.
said like 3 hours 17 minutes.
Oh, I see. Okay. Ooh, Boise. Not sorting this has just made it like a real hassle for you. That's okay. So I would want like, yeah.
So average each of the.
Of 3 weeks. And unfortunately, this is going to be like straight manual for you.
Perfect.
So you're going to do like 6 times 60 plus 55 plus 13 times 60 plus 50 plus 22 times 60 plus 26 divided by 3.
Yeah.
You know?
That's minutes.
And
Yeah.
that's in minutes, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Or you could go with hours.
Okay.
If you want to,
Yeah.
to do that, if you wanted an hour, that's kind of a dumb number. These are going to be big, right?
Yeah.
So I would do 6 plus 55 divided by 60. Oops. And plus 13 plus 50 divided by 60 plus 22 plus 26 divided by 60 and then divide by 3.
Okay.
And now you're in hours.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And that's probably a more
That's probably
sensible
better
looking number.
Yeah.
Hey, dude.
So like I asked people on the survey like if they even have a membership, right? And the
Okay.
ones that said no, like would I even put them in the thing?
Probably not.
So I would need more responses.
Probably. How many do you have here?
75.
Let's see how many. Let's do this. So I'm going to highlight all this data.
Oh, sorry, I have it in Excel too.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Blank quiz. Okay, that's fine. So what we're going to do.
Next week.
Ah, come on now. Hate not having a mouse. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And I'm going to sort this. Using column C. And we'll do Z to A because I want the yeses on top. Good. Okay. So that tells us we go from 2 to 61. You might be okay. You're probably 50 something. We'll give it a try. We'll try it and see if it goes.
Okay.
Does that make sense what I did, Meg?
Yeah.
Okay. And a heck of a lot easier than counting, right?
Mr. Kulik, what's your favorite poem? Yes, Mr. Osecki saying that you probably don't know poetry.
I probably don't.
He was getting really territorial. He was, because I said that you were only favorite teacher.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's very kind. What I would say about poetry is I don't know poetry, but I know what I like. So, and I don't know that I have a favorite poem that I can think of a name of.
Yeah.
But if I read one or heard one, hearing is usually better than reading.
Then you would probably like.
And I would go, oh, yeah, I like that. Or like, didn't do nothing for me. You know?
Is it okay if juniors responded?
I think at this point we needed data, so I would say take them.
I was confused.
Yeah, they're for sure juniors responded to you because I had juniors in the class. Yeah, we can certainly talk about that.
Was our resubmissions better?
I haven't looked at those yet either.
Okay.
I know. Usually I can turn things around really quick. It's been a very hectic week.
Yeah, I know.
And trying to like
It's felt like the longest.
figure out trying to get all my ducks in a row for next, because of when this Thanksgiving break is falling, and then the end of the semester is like almost as soon as we come back. It just, is a lot. And this AP calculus class, I'm still like trying to figure out exactly how I want to do things in it. So it's not like it's just like pull my stuff and just print some stuff out and go, because you got something the way you wanted it. Okay. I'm excited that you're excited.
I can add the minutes an hour. Is there like a preference you have for the units? Adding hours and minutes.
What are your two variables?
Screen time and sleep.
Which will probably be similar quantities. Is it total screen time in a week or average per day?
It's the average per week.
Okay, so that could be a much bigger number than your sleep number. Is it average?
Well, it's like a daily average.
Okay, so it's a daily average for each then. I think that there's no preference between the two. I think that those would fit appropriately, because those two numbers are going to be pretty similar size, right? Most of you guys are probably have like 5 hours of screen time and like 7 hours of sleep or something, or reverse for some of us. As the kids were filling these out, they were commenting that, of course, Megan's asking about Costco. I heard a number of times. They weren't just your sister.
Can you show me how you added hours and minutes again?
So I would put a column for total right next to my hours and minutes column. And I'm just going to hit equals. And which one are you converting to, hours or minutes?
I feel like hours.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to do the hours. So I'm just going to click in the hours cell. I'm going to do a plus, and I'm going to click in the minute cell, and then do divide by 60.
When I put the total column, can I get rid of the hours and minutes? Or
What
should I just leave it?
I would just leave everything here because we're not sure what we'll end up
But I would just
needing or not needing.
Yeah.
So I would just leave that. You
I'm only
can
gonna use
can
the GPA and the total.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Like you could dump the timestamp. Like
Yeah.
you don't need that. Right. And then is this just a blank column now? Is this
I guess so.
Okay. delete that? And when we do everything, this would be
Yeah, I don't know.
you'd want to clean that to just like a 4.3 or something.
Yeah.
Or the NA.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, like but otherwise
Should I delete that whole NA row?
I would
or-
get rid of this one.
Yeah, because there were some joke ones in there.
Yeah, the NA row, I would probably, what I would do is I would just do something like this. And just like move the joke stuff off to the side.
Oh, okay.
And then delete
deleted,
the
like,
space.
The other joke ones.
Yeah, that's okay. It's probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
And
then just
this one. Yeah, this one. Well, I'm just going to call it 4.3.
Yeah.
So there we go. So when we do stuff, we're going to be looking, and you can always do something like, and just do this. And now the two things are right next to each other. And that's going to be easier. And just move that off to the side, or you can even like take this and open like your own separate little thing and just have,
those two.
yeah, just take those two columns. Right, and then you have like your originals still there, and you just have
Yeah.
like a clean sheet. I don't know minutes of what, but minutes.
Yeah.
But now it's all like everything else is out of the way,
Yeah.
but it's not gone. And now you can manipulate this all you want, and you don't have to worry about losing your,
Yeah.
after you've already went through the effort of cleaning it. Right?
Yeah.
You don't want to like screw that up and have to re-clean it again. Does that feel good?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. How are we doing with our clean? All right. I want to kind of show you what to do next. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to do the chi-squared piece, because I want to make sure that the amount of data I have, I can arrange it in a table in such a way to pass the large counts condition. Because if I can't do that, I need to go back and collect some more data. Everybody okay with that plan? Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sort my data in the X column from biggest to smallest. Now to do that in Excel, I'm going to highlight both columns of my data. So these are my two variables. I've highlighted all of the pairs. And then up at the top here, I'm going to find the Data tab. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to find the Sort option. See the Sort button there? I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to pick Sort by, in my case, I'm picking height. And I'm going to sort from smallest to largest, and then hit OK. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep all the pairs together. So each data point has remained intact. It just sorted the ones with the biggest X value first and the smallest X value second. Everybody's okay so far? What I want to do next is I want to look at my data here. So I have about 50 data points, because I go from 2 to 51, so it's like 50 data points. Probably you guys are in a similar position. When I build my observed counts table, I need it to be at least 2 by 3 or 3 by 2. Ideally, I would like 3 by 3. So I'm going to look at my data and look at my heights here and see if it makes sense to split these heights into like 3 bunches. So maybe I go from 67 or less, and maybe I'll highlight that and make, oops. Let's just highlight these. And then maybe I'll go like 68 to, I don't know that I want, I think 67, maybe just up to 67. There, that's probably better. And then maybe up to, say, 72. Probably not include 72, probably just up to 72. I'm just trying to get like a similar amount of stuff in each column, and then 72 and up. So that looks like I have about the same amount of stuff in each of those 3 categories. So in my height, I would do like 61 to, and then I would say like less than 67. And then we'll go 67 to less than 72. And then this would just be like 72 plus. That looks like my 3 categories there. So let's count now. I guess there's no reason to count right now. All right. So that looks like a good organization, a good splitting up for my...
How did you put that table?
I built it myself. Oh. So I just like highlighted the space, and then I did like, all borders. And then I can do like, I can do like thick borders to give, like some extra distinction here. It's not like, to be honest with you guys, like the table that table you're looking at isn't going to end up like the Excel sheet. No one's going to look at like, so your Excel sheet doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to be able to do the calculation for us to get the number that's going to go into our paper, right? Because when we type the equation in and then type our work into our paper, no one's going to look at your sheet. But when you type a table into your sheet, you're not going to copy and paste it from Excel. You're going to build the table in Word. So like it doesn't have to look pretty. Does that feel okay? I just made it look pretty here because it makes it easier for you guys to kind of see what's going on. But you don't even need You don't need to make like grid lines or like shading or any. It's not important. Is that, Lucas, you're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to then go ahead and highlight both sets of data again, and now I'm going to sort by my y variable. So I highlighted both sets, and I'm just going to repeat the same process. So I do data, and then I press sort, and this time I'm going to sort shoe sizes, and again, I'll go smallest to largest. So again, I want about a third of my data in each category. So like, looks like 6 to 9. Looks like or 7 to 9. Looks like a good sort to me. So let's make that a color. Green. And then let's see, 10 to, nope.
Are you recording this system?
I am. And then I'll make those maybe like purple or something. And then 12 and up, we'll make another color, maybe make those like red or something. So my column then I'll name like 7 to less than 10. And then we did 10 to less than 12. And then we did 12 plus. And I think to help me or help myself here, I'm going to go ahead and like color code these things for myself so I can remember when I am going to do my placement what color cell I'm looking at. Yes.
I can't sort my data.
Why do you mean you can't sort your data?
Like added the hours and minutes together.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sort it. So
Here. Bring it up. I can fix it.
I'm trying to sort out both of them. Both of them. That's insane.
So this is the two columns you're sorting? Okay. And you're in Excel. So we take this, do sort.
That's screen time.
Okay. And you do that. Looked like it sorted it.
No.
Oh. That is bizarre. What does it think this is? Because it did something. Number. This is straight bizarre. What if I sort this column? Does it sort the other column properly?
It looks like a bit so.
But it didn't sort it properly.
Well, I did the equation and stuff.
Ah, okay, that's why it's doing, okay. Let's look at what we did then. Where did this come from? All right.
Every time is so bad.
Like I'm getting so scared.
I'm so glad we got an explosion of
There you go, and then I saw it wouldn't. I was like,
You have to like project it.
Never
I'm
saw
scared.
that.
I don't want to do that.
Like, it's
You do
never-
the same statue?
I don't know.
I
That
didn't
wasn't my
even know that was a
business.
thing.
Should I ask?
In a format.
You see me do that move too, but it's cool.
Yeah,
Do
it's
that.
Embarrassing.
I'm thinking about starting to do that because I thought about it.
Ask
I
me.
need light turn red.
It's like the floor plan matched up, and I
It's like a little nerd.
There's no patience. You just take it right on the red.
Wow,
Or
so it's
eagle.
like an open control. You think that's a
Or
problem?
that's
I like that approach.
It's like 5.
I made the cathedral for Mora during CC yesterday.
Some guy, like something like that. It's like he was flying up in the
So
turn
mad.
lane, I was like,
I was like,
flying
I
up
have
in
to
the
check
turn lane,
poetry. I
runs the red light.
Which one is this in? Is it in form responses?
Yeah, for responses.
She's asking me to like do her conclusion paragraph, like
I know, she just can't
write
write
an
it.
essay.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, the railroad, by the AutoZone, it's like a gas station, dentist.
She was like, I need a concussion.
Yeah,
She's like, what do you mean by that?
Or there's like this alleyway that you can get through.
I thought it was like, oh, I don't want to do my work on my
Same.
computer anymore. Like,
Yeah.
We all need a
yeah, I need a concussion.
This little side alley next to the road, and then this alley like following me on it, and then it hits me like on a side street, and then I just turn and go. Yeah, well. Not ready to go to the other side.
Come on.
got it.
There we go. Okay. So there you go. Now it'll work. Just had to put it in its own separate sheet, but whatever. I don't know why that fixed it, but it fixed it. We'll take it.
I'm trying to think what like they would put up here. So it's all like jumbled everywhere.
It's all
For
jumbled.
like the wide part of the table.
Oh, the stolen bases.
Oh, so you're just typing in the separate hours?
So let's look at the sort and what that looks like.
Can you even be using at the time?
Sort. Sort here. So you have 100 data points. Okay.
There's no way.
So you might just be stuck with two
I wish I could see people.
categories for this. I might just do like less than 10 and greater than 10, and it'll probably be enough to it'll work out because you do get a nice solid 3 categories here. And when we do this, I would have highlighted the numbers yellow or whatever, because now I've gone and like when I did that sort, I didn't take this with me because I didn't realize that's what you had done there. We should be able to just unsort that. Okay. Yeah, so I unsorted it there. So I would colored this stuff yellow so that when we resort it, we can tell like what two categories that data point is in, so we know where to put it in our table.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Mm.
Okay. You good?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look,
What's
I
going
was
on?
just wondering, I have like 3 data points, but I think I just like was not smart enough to make the right question.
Okay. Okay, so what is this? Family go to Costco, okay? Does your family get gas at Costco, okay? And how many cars do you have? Okay. So I would just go and make like Costco trips, and I would just do this column plus this column.
Oh, okay.
And just be like, They both count.
Got it.
Whether you went to there to shop or to get gas, it just counts as a Costco trip. And that's going to be my second variable. And I'm just going to do that for everything. Because I'm looking at cars comparison to trips, right? Now these things that say never, don't go, why don't you put those as zeros or whatever?
Or these are the people that don't have memberships.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Then we don't even. I would no. You don't have to. Here's what we'll just do. Oh goodness. I'm just gonna delete that part out. And this person has 98 membership cars in their family. You probably can eliminate that one as well. I don't think that person really has 98 cars. I mean, maybe they work at a used car dealership, but they don't go to Costco 28 times in a week.
Yeah. Thank you.
But that's probably the way I would approach it. Is that?
So now I can do the count thing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, guys. So once I've gone and defined my categories, and again, you need at least 3 categories in one variable and 2 categories in another variable. Ideally, 3 by 3 would be great, but if that doesn't become possible, that's okay. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to figure out how many things are both green and yellow. So if I look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I scroll down, I don't think I have any more. Nope, because all the greens are right there. So I have 11 that are green and yellow. And then I'm going to look at green and blue. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are both green and blue. And then I'm going to look at green and orange, and there's none of those. And then I'm going to look at the purples, and I'm just going to continue kind of counting down on this, right? So I'm looking purple and yellow. What do I see? 5 of those. Purple and blue, I see 6 of those. Purple and orange, I see 5 of those. And then I'll do my reds. So I have 1 red and yellow. And then I have 4 red and blues. And then I have, scroll down, 12 red and oranges. Does that make sense in how I did filled in my observed counts table? So I just counted, for like this spot, how many things are both red and blue. That's why I bothered to color code everything, was so just to make this part easy to count. And then I have to do my totals. I'm not going to do my totals by hand, though. I'm going to use a formula to do this. So I have my cursor right here in the cell that says total and then the greens. So I'm going to hit the equal sign. And then I'm going to type the letters S-U-M and then a parenthesis. And I'm going to highlight the cells in the column above it. Close my parenthesis and press enter. And then I'm going to grab the corner. See how my cursor changes to the black cross from the white cross? Left click on that, hold it, and drag it to the right. And then I'm going to do the same thing in this total column for each row. So I'm going to sum, and then I'll highlight that row, close my parenthesis, press enter, and then drag that down. So I'll give you guys a minute to work on that. And then we'll talk about how to get our observed counts. If you're running into problems or you have questions, holler at me, and I'll be happy to take a look at what's going on and help you the best I can. Again, I'm not like an Excel expert, but I'm pretty good at it.
Like it's chill. I texted her right after. I saw someone's story.
So I just, in this cell right here, I type the equal sign and then type the letters SUM and then a parenthesis. No. And then I just highlighted the 3 cells above it and then closed the parenthesis, pressed enter, and then dragged the whole thing to the right. And it auto-filled everything after that. I mean, your category is likely, Megan, will be like 1 car, 2 car, and then more than 2 cars.
Well, I guess that's way, right? For the cars. Or like,
It doesn't matter.
oh, it
Which one you're making X and which one you make Y, not at all.
Okay.
In your table, all it needs to be is you're observed. So what column, what do you call the rows, your X, and your columns, your heights, or your Ys, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. It'll not affect your chi-squared value at all. Rad. Plugging along.
Because I sorted the book.
Is it homework? That's my whole college essay. That's great. I just never write college.
If there's your data,
You have to do it each other.
Control Z is probably your friend.
For base.
Because if you mixed up your X's and Y's, like you got to Control Z back and like undo that until back where they're still paired.
So when I'm doing it, like these are the same value, but it's just the way I split them up. So how would I do it?
You can't. You'd have to put the 26.5 in either yellow or blue.
Okay.
I would probably put it with the blue since there's a lot of them.
Okay, so I just
in the blue
adjust it a
already.
little bit.
Yeah, I would just make this blue, and then it should be. Is this? Oh, I'm doing color. This blue? Yeah, I think so. And same thing with the 27.6s. Maybe make those just reds. But you can have a number only in one column or the other. But that looks pretty evenly split. I think that'll work out really nice for you.
Thank you.
So I'm only supposed to sort my independent variable, right? So that would be my minutes. So I accidentally sorted mine.
Yeah, so it looks like you sorted these two things separately.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to hit undo until the sort is gone, which I know is unfortunate.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem though.
But it'll.
Because I know what to type back into my.
Yeah. Okay. So this looks like.
I think they're still sorted.
You think? Because it's like.
Yeah, it is.
Because this. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Going back.
Oh, how did I get to that?
There we go. So that was. And I want to. Waiting for that other column to unsort for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 3.
I'm not sure what my order of operations was.
2 to 5. 5 to 7.
I think I sorted it like a really long time ago.
It's okay. You can get all this stuff back easily.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Alright.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes, I have it.
So this is what we'll do. We're going to sort now by the first column. And then you said, I think you went to like here.
I think
that
up
right?
to the one before.
The one before?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's
And
make that a color.
Yeah.
And then
then I
probably
think I
down
went
to like
down
here.
to- yeah.
Look about right.
I think it went down to that last 4. Because I
Isn't
just went like
Sure.
19, 19, 20. Try
Sure.
to make it as even.
Yeah. This will be oops, a different color. Okay, so that's good. And then we'll highlight everything again. And sort my minutes. And I'll do the same thing. So do you remember where you had this end at? Maybe like here?
Yeah, I think about there. I think it went up to 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's right.
So do that. A color. We used red yet? Let's do
No.
red. Okay. We'll go to maybe what, 420?
Well, yeah.
Look okay. Seems about evenly split, right? I'll make that maybe the dark blue or something.
Can I change that purple when I get back?
Yeah, of course. You don't actually have to read the numbers anymore, though.
Oh, okay. So
So, like,
it's fine
if
as
you
is.
can't see it, it's not a big deal. Don't do that. And now you're just going to
Do that
build out your table so you have like yellow and like your GPA colors, and you're just counting how many you have of each color pair. And now it should be good. And you can resort this if you need to, like as long as you do it together.
Yeah. I
Right.
think it should be fine now.
Like I usually like to do it where the X is sorted. But so you can in purple I'm gonna have like whatever in the greens and then like that many in the
I think I
blues.
put my minutes as my independent. So would that be?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
If it's going in your observed counts table, it doesn't matter.
Okay, it only matters when I.
When we're building the scatter plot, that would matter.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing like your R or whatever. Actually, I don't think that matters even there. No,
Okay.
because it was the same correlation. But that, just when you're putting in your scatter plot would be the only time we'd have to worry about it.
All right. Thank you.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, if you want to do any recoloring, like go for it. I just pick stuff.
I don't have any.
All right, everybody just take a pause where you're at. I know all you guys are still kind of working on this. I'm going to do the expected counts table. So what's the formula for an expected count? Row total times column total divided by overall total. Now you can do that manually, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to use like a formula. So I'm going to do equals now, so that I can do this as a formula, I'm going to be a little bit careful about how I'm doing this. So the overall total is going to, I want that cell not to change when I do the drag. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of the letter. That's going to freeze the column. And then a $sign in front of the number, that'll freeze the row. So every time I drag that J7, the overall total, that cell won't change. I'm going to drag to the right. So J4 should stay the same as well. So I'm going to freeze that one. And then G7, I just want the column to change when I drag. So I'm going to freeze the 7. And then I'm going to just grab this and drag to the right 3 and just double check that I'm doing the right thing. So that looks good. I look at this one, that looks good. And I'm going to just repeat the process. So row total times column total divided by overall total. And again, that guy I want to stay the same. That row I want to stay the same. And the end piece I need to stay the same. And then I drag to the right. Notice as I'm doing this, I'm also going to kind of be looking at what those observed counts are. Notice that all of my observed counts so far are greater than 5. And I'll do row total times column total divided by overall total one more time. So that needs to be the same spot. This one I need to freeze the row. And this one I need to freeze the whole thing. And if I look at my observed counts, what do you see? All of them are greater than 5. So I'm good. If one of your observed counts falls below 5, what would we have to do? You'd have 2 options. You can see if you can resort your data. Can I get a little bit extra into that row or column that seems like a smaller number? Or can I collect more data? I would always say, can I rejigger my boundaries to make, the row or column total that's a little bit small, can I make that bigger? The other option I could have in doing the resorting is, could I go from 3 categories to 2? That can also get more stuff into a total. As long as you have either a 2x3 or a 3x2 table, you're going to be okay. Does everybody understand what I'm saying there? Now let's calculate some of these other numbers that are going to go into our report, right? So we want an average of the x's, right? You guys agree? So let's do that. So I'm going to make like I'll call a cell called X bar. I'll call a cell called Y bar. I'll have sigma X, sigma Y. So equals, the mean is the same thing as the average. So I'm going to do average, and then I'm just going to highlight all my X's. Bloop. Press enter. Y bar, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to type average, and it starts autofilling. If I just double click there, it'll autofill it all the way for me. I'm going to highlight all of my Y's. Enter. And then let's do our standard deviation. And remember, we want the population standard deviation, right? So that's STDEV.P. That stands for population. So again, oops. Put it in the wrong spot. Okay, so there's our means and standard deviations. Our chi-squared, how do we calculate chi-squared?
Minus x divided by sigma minus x plus.
It's observed minus expected squared divided by expected for each cell. Yep. So I'm just going to do this all in one. So observed minus expected, and then squared divided by expected. I would save that data, but you're not going to use it to do anything that we just did. To do any of the sorting that we just talked about, you're ignoring all that stuff. Sure. I would probably move the stuff you just made to a new document and leave all the, and leave all the other stuff there.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot. Well, I was.
Let's see, what else do we do here? Okay. To get our R value in Excel, we can use the CORREL command to just get the number, and all you need to do is highlight your one column, comma, highlight the other column, so just like your X and then your Y. So there does need to be a comma between those two. And boom, that spits out the R. Your A equation was, how do you find A again? Is it R times standard deviation Y over standard deviation X? Is that right?
Yeah.
Formula's on the last test, wasn't it? Yeah. So R times standard deviation Y divided by standard deviation X. And then the B is Y bar minus A times X bar. Ooh, you know what we didn't find? Was the P. We need a P for that chi-squared. How do I do that again? Okay. So to do this, we use the chi-squared distribution .rt formula. Then we use our chi-squared value and our degrees of freedom. For what is the degree of freedom for this? It's 4 is correct. How'd you do that, Christian? Number of columns minus 1 times number of rows minus 1. So that would be 4. Press enter. There's my p-value. That ought to do it, right? For statistics. We should create a scatter plot, though, for this. How do I do that? So I'm going to highlight my 2 columns. I'm going to take the labels for those 2 columns with me. And I do insert. And the chart we want is this one down here, the scatter. And I'm going to want to change some labels here. So this would be height versus shoe size. I want some axis titles on this. I want a trend line on here. And I want to display the equation R statistic. And I'm probably going to change the scale on this because this looks pretty dumb. Where is it? So I'm going to go 60 to 80. That's probably better. So there's my scatter plot. That looks pretty decent.
Unless you'd like me to be in your hands, you don't get 1,000.
What's up? Yes. And I might kind of want a legend. Can I do that?
That's just not true.
Maybe I don't want that. So that does it.
That looks really good. I'm still on the sorting.
I know it takes some time. How do you sort? Sure, come on over. Let's take a look.
So I typed, these are my averages on the separate thing.
So I'm gonna highlight your stuff. Do data, sort, and I'm gonna sort by GPA first. Okay. That might be this might be a nonsense person.
Yeah.
So if that looks like a nonsense one, let's just not count it.
Okay. Yeah, some of them are like that.
I mean, I might buy some of these 2s through 7s and stuff. Is there like 4.8? I don't think is possible, right?
Yeah, no.
And 435 plus, I think is we'll just call it 435 because that plus in there's
They're really trying to brag on their
problems.
GPA.
So we don't think this is possible, right?
Right.
It's not enough AP classes for you to get to there.
There was another one where it was like
19 hours of.
yeah.
What is that? What is this supposed to be?
Hours per day, or average per day in 3 weeks.
Of what?
But
of what?
Screen time.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
But there's 24 hours.
So maybe let's get rid of this one. That seems nonsense. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to do some sorting now. So we have about 80 data points. So I'd probably want around 20 or 25. So maybe to like 3.7 looks good.
Okay.
We'll call that one group or one category. And then 3.7 to 4 seems okay. It's maybe a little light in that one, maybe, but we'll see how it works out. You can always expand that, maybe take 4.
Yeah, like include the 4s,
yeah. Or make it to 4.1 or something if we have to. We might actually want to do that. Looking at how this one is. So I might do that right now. And just put that into the green or the oranges.
Okay.
That looks probably pretty well sorted.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to flip. And we're going to sort the other side. And now we'll sort by, I don't know, that up to 5 looks pretty good. And then 5 to maybe 675, because I'm trying to get like a reasonable, like evenish split, and then over that.
Then 6 to 4. Oh, that's not possible either.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, those 2 at the bottom.
Both of them at the bottom? Oh, yeah.
Because 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, 23 is probably not possible
Yeah, that
either.
one's not good either. Okay.
But now all you do is like build
Put
your
it in a
table and
table.
like count how many things are like, red
What
and
color,
blue, red and green, red and
Yeah,
purple.
okay.
And then you should be good.
Okay. And if I need help with the math,
Of course. Hi, Megan. What's up?
I think when I sorted like